Now, the English people believe and say that too much of a thing is not good. Yes, you might be doing a good thing, but if it's too much of it, it is dangerous. We're going to talk about 4 dangers of being single for too long. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to All Singles Talk. I am your host, Elwin, and I'm so excited to be sharing these life experiences with you. So, we're going to talk about 4 dangers of being single for too long and 4 ways that you can balance or that you can set the balance in order for you not to lose some touch offline. Now, believe it or not, the first danger is this: you may lose your skill of empathy. Empathy is your ability to understand and to share the feelings of another person. Now, believe it or not, when you have been single for too long, you begin to focus so much on yourself. I remember the time when I decided that I would not get into any romantic relationship, and eventually I found it difficult to empathize with the girl that I had interest in at that moment because I had lost the skill of empathy. Now, when you lose the skill of empathy, it's difficult for you to truly understand how does your partner feel about a certain thing. Sometimes your partner may try to express how they are feeling, but you will not be emotionally connected to them, and it would be difficult and cause your relationship to fail. Now, you need to understand that empathy is a secret ingredient to any successful relationship. Believe it or not, the second danger is this: you may develop a fear of losing out on your solitude. When you talk about solitude, it is that safe zone that you have heard for such a long time. When you have been single for a long time, nobody would usually ask about how you are doing, what you are doing, or probably where you are and how your day is going about. So nobody is there to do that. And when you have been single for too long, you get so used to the peace and solitude that you have had being single. It could be a problem because you might become irritated when you have finally met your person or your partner and they begin to show interest in how you are doing, what you are doing, and where you are, because you may be like, why are you trying to invade my space? You know, they might even start asking you personal questions, and you might be like, I don't think it's appropriate for me to talk about this with you. But that would simply be because of the barriers, or not the barriers, but because of the wall of solitude that you have built around yourself being single too long. They say that habits are formed intentionally and unintentionally. Number 3 reason is that you could be developing bad habits. Yes, some bad habits that I have experienced over my life or over myself is this: that I've been developing this complimenting people to an extent where I would sometimes flirt with them unconsciously because I got so used that there's nobody around me or I had no partner. So I would just give comments and make people feel good. Until one time when a lady told me, Elvin, you have some way of playing with your words, and that could evoke some emotions in women. And I didn't understand that until I sat back and reflected and noticed that how some women have been responding to what I would say. I did it unconsciously and with a good intention, but it turned out to affect or to invoke the wrong motives in some people because they thought that I was flirting with them. Now, when you have built such habits, such as flirting with people, it could follow you in the long run, even to a point where you are in a relationship and they would ask you whether you are flirting with them, or probably your partner would not find it appropriate that you should be complimenting other people excessively because you would not find it wrong, but then the other person or the next person would see it as you either flirting or hitting up on them. One of the bad habits that you might be developing is simply the habit of you staying home, and your partner might be a social person or might expect you to engage in social activities such as probably going to the restaurant and just chilling there as a partner, probably going out on dates. And if you have been single for too long, trust me, in one way or another, you might have become accustomed to just being home or probably just attending a certain event and coming back. And that might cause you to become antisocial, anti-dating, or anti-going out, if I may say, because you have become so used to being alone. The number fourth reason is this: you might develop self-sabotaging habits. When I talk about self-sabotaging habits, these are habits that could affect your relationship negatively. Probably you might see this person that you have interest in, but then you might be having those self-destructive talks within yourself that might encourage you from continuing this relationship with the person. Or probably you might engage in behaviors that might just make the person feel like, what's happening here? And this can often be caused either because of a previous experience that you have had, especially if you have been single for too long after you had had a bad relationship. You might develop the self-sabotaging habit. Those are the four dangers of being single for too long. Now, we are going to look at the four alternatives as to how to strike a balance if you have been single for too long so that you don't lose touch or develop bad habits in the long run. Stay tuned.